I'm sure you've heard that the back squat is the king of all leg exercises. And while that might be true, for a lot of you, it isn't. And the reason is you can't get into great positions, you end up putting way too much strain on your back, hips, and knees, and your legs are the last thing to feel the stimulus. So today we're gonna cover 2 themes that are gonna help you get more out of your back squatting sessions today and every squat session in the future. Follow these 2 tips and you will see improvement. So let's start with a warm-up that addresses these right away. The first is gonna be reverse Nordics. These reverse Nordics are gonna gently take your knees through a full range of motion to get you started. You can regress this by performing a heel sit or a weighted heel sit. The reverse Nordic can be done with a band to assist you, or you can do them with partial ranges of motion as needed. Russian baby makers are also great to get your knees and hips working before you squat. You can simultaneously work on opening up the tissues on the back of the legs and the hips in deep flexion. Try putting your heels up onto a ledge or onto small plates to really be able to sink deeper into the squat portion of this prep movement. And also the low dragon stretch can help you relax into a deeper range of motion in your ankle. You can stick with the body weight option, or if you want to enhance this somewhat, you can place a kettlebell or some weight on your knee to help assist into deeper ankle flexion positions. You probably think it's time to jump into your back squats right now, but think again. If you've ever felt your best squat sets come at the end of your training, then it means that you haven't gotten enough preparation prior to squatting. So we're gonna pump up your legs with a little bit more pre-fatigue. For this, I love a variation of the knees over toes squat. And you can do this with a highly assisted form by grabbing hold of a band or a bar. There's 2 different ways that you can perform this type of squat. One is with a straight hip, also referred to as a sissy squat, or one where you keep your torso a lot more upright and you drive the knees out in front of you way past your toes with your heels lifting off the ground. Warm-up is done, pre-fatigue knees over toes squats are done. Now let's buckle up for the heavy and hard double leg squats. In theory, the back squat is the king of lower body exercises if you can do it perfectly. But the reality is that most people who are going from a desk job and sitting a lot of the day to trying to do a perfect upright squat, that doesn't happen very often. So we need to be able to make adjustments to our position in order to get the most bang for our buck without feeling pain. The first adjustment is to consider elevating your heels. Using a slant board or ATG buddies is going to help your knees come forward more while keeping your feet stable on the ground. Therefore, you're going to end up with better knee flexion and hip flexion. More range at both of these joints means the leg muscles get stretched more and will get a greater stimulus. And if you have them, consider using Olympic lifting shoes with a built-in heel wedge. Now, I know there's a lot of barbell purists out there that say barbell back squatting is the only way to go, but I want to encourage you to not be afraid to use machines, particularly the Smith machine when you're squatting. Machines are just another tool for developing some stability and allowing you to manipulate your position so that you can squat more upright and you can get more out of your legs and less demand out of your back and your hips. So here are some quad-focused techniques. Turn your toes so that they're pointed straight forward, and this is going to target more of the outside of your quads, known as the vastus lateralis or the quad sweep. If you toe out slightly, this is going to help target the inside of your quads, known as the vastus medialis or the teardrop. Bringing your feet closer together is another great way to enhance the mind-muscle connection and the leverage on your quads. The challenge with bringing your feet narrower that people will find is that they have a harder time with legs narrow getting a full range of motion at the bottom of their squat. This can be because of hip and ankle mobility restrictions. And if this is the case, then you definitely want to leverage the heels elevated that we talked about prior. Woo, now your quads are absolutely feeling it, right? Because you've got your stance correct. You have your toes positioned correctly. You've figured out what to do to overcome your ankle mobility restrictions with heel lifts, and you're even possibly using a machine. Your legs are feeling this for the first time in your life, and your hips and your back are not pissed at you. So now, what can we do? Well, if you want to intensify things a little bit more, here's my tip for you for today. The 1 1/4 back squat and why you should use it. For this, you're going to perform a full depth, come up about half to 1/4 of the way of a full range of motion before you head back down and then complete the full repetition. The quarter rep will place the quads under greater time under tension and can specifically stimulate the quads by taking them right to the sticking point that they typically fail at in a normal repetition. All right, we're gonna get back to quad growing secrets in just a moment, but here's another growth hack. If you're not taking creatine, monohydrate every single day, then you are leaving something on the table when it comes to performance and muscle growth, lean muscle growth. There is more evidence and more research done on this single supplement than any other sports performance supplement in the history of training. That is why I take creatine every single day. It gives me more muscle endurance, greater strength development, and over time, better muscle growth as a result. All you need is 5 grams a day. You don't need to preload it. You don't need to take big doses. Just take it every single day, training days, non-training days. You don't need to complicate it. Make it creatine monohydrate. If you're looking for a brand that is trusted, that's third-party tested, has great flavors, I choose Transparent Labs. These are my go-to guys for supplements. I'm popping a link down below so that you can go get 10% off with code Marcus so that you can start getting some creatine gains in your legs. Now let's get back to the tips on how to grow pain-free muscle in your lower body. Squats are done for the day. Your legs are feeling juicy, and now it's time to do some unilateral strength work. We're gonna balance you out from right to left, and we're gonna stick with our 2 themes of ankle mobility and full range of motion. Now, there's a lot of single leg exercises that you could do, and some hit those 2 themes better than others. Step ups, Bulgarian split squats, pistol squats, reverse lunges, all of these are great. But if we want to maximize range of motion and train the ankles, here are some of my other favorite options that I love. Those include the ATG split squat, the front foot elevated split squat, and the long step walking lunges. All 3 of these combine ankle mobility with full range in the ankle, knee, and hip. After putting in a full squat session, I encourage you to throw in 1 accessory movement for the ankles. If you don't want to be the next victim of a weekend pickup game Achilles tendon rupture, then make sure you're getting strong in this bottom position, stretch position of the calf raise. If you really take advantage of this stretch position at the bottom and you pause, this exercise is going to help improve your ankle mobility for future squatting sessions. The calf raise is more than just a movement to build the calf muscles. It's an exercise that, when done correctly, can have a great impact on your ankle range of motion. You're going to perform 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 seconds on the lowering, and a 1 to 2 second pause at the bottom and the top of each rep. The workout is pretty much done, but I don't want you to miss out on the valuable minutes at the end of training to help extend your range of motion. A little cool down, mobility, each session adds up to a lot over time. So the first move we're going to get you into is the couch stretch. There isn't a better stretch available to help open up everything on the front of your hip and your leg that's going to translate to more upright, pain-free squatting. Here are a couple simple ways to make this stretch more approachable if you find it to be too painful or, for some of you, too easy. The first is with a bench assistance. Having something to place your hands on right in front of your body when you're in this challenging position can be absolutely game-changing. And if you're finding that you want to increase the difficulty of this, you can elevate the front foot onto a weight plate and make this what we'll call the super couch stretch. It's not for the faint of heart, and make sure that you've mastered the base level of the couch stretch before trying this. The second stretch and mobility point is going to tackle your ankles. This is the straight leg calf stretch. A lot of people will skip static stretching because they don't think it does much, but when you really remain focused for a couple minutes, it can really add up. I hope today is that you get attached to the outcome of stronger, better looking legs with less pain. Whether you can do a back squat in the traditional sense or not, doesn't define you and your worth as an athlete or as a person. You came to the gym to get stronger, to build muscle, and to feel good. These movement adjustments that we talked about today and the way that you can fold ankles and range of motion into every part of your training is your key to unlocking the actual goal that you set out to accomplish in your training. So make sure you use these 2 tips in every aspect of what you're doing. Don't be afraid to make adjustments. And if somebody gives you a strange look for lifting your heels up on a back squat, let them be worried about themselves. You do you. This is going to unlock strength, muscle, and pain-free legs for your future. If you want to learn more about building muscle while protecting and healing your knees, make sure you check out this video right here with my friend Ben Patrick, the Knees Over Toes Guy.